Brick and mortar stores saw more than a 50% drop in Black Friday traffic. That compared to last year, as shopping has moved online this year. No surprise there. What was a little unexpected was just how much shopping happened online on Friday. We spent around $9 billion on Friday. That's up 20% from last year. Today, Cyber Monday, we're expected to top that. It could be the biggest online shopping day ever. Today on Dumb Money, the Cyber Monday stocks that we're shopping for, our wish list. We're going to reveal the companies that we think will do best this holiday shopping season. This is Dumb Money Live with Chris Camillo, Dave Hansen, and Jordan McLean, streaming live on YouTube. We are Dumb Money. Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. Welcome to Dumb Money Live. We are entering the most wonderful time of the year for retailers. Chris, Jordan, did you participate in any of the Black Friday, Cyber Monday buying?
No. I think my wife did, though. I saw a bunch of alerts come through on my credit card, which, if you don't know, Chase will actually send you every time you get a charge on your credit card, which is nice.
I did, Jordan. I just noticed that last night. So basically, my credit card went over its limit yesterday.
What?
Okay? So I've been fighting with SimilarWeb all week, trying to I had not all week, like 4 days, because I had a huge charge for my annual SimilarWeb Pro subscription, and I was fighting with them, and they finally got back to me, and they're like, "We think your credit card's the problem." And I go I logged in last night, and I am over a ridiculously high credit limit, okay, for the month, and I had to process a payment this morning. So today's show, all I wanted to do was to be able to pull all SimilarWeb traffic reports. I was not able to do that today. They would not. I've been paying those guys for 8-9 years. We're talking six figures. Okay, I'm in six figures, and they shut my Pro subscription off and refused to turn it back on until I'm like, are you guys kidding me right now? I told them to escalate it to the CEO of SimilarWeb. This is at 9 last night. I was like, dude, I am so pissed, but I don't even know what to do. It's still shut off. I can't share anything with you.
So you can't go shopping, except for maybe your backup card on Amazon.
It's I don't.
It's kind of good though, because you've basically shut down your holiday shopping, and Amy's not going to be able to buy anything. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. The boxes are still coming in every day, but that was probably from last week. I didn't do any shopping. I
didn't intentionally do any shopping, but when you are bombarded with as many emails and specials, and when I opened Amazon, one of the things that I kind of do instead of having a wish list is just I put it in my shopping cart and then do save for later. And then anytime the price changes, they put that alert at the top. And so many things that I was considering buying were on sale. I bought a $2,000 camera lens. I bought some HDMI cables. I bought the new light that you just bought, Chris. I bought one of those. I bought another one of those 7-inch monitors because it was $40 less, and you can always use more of those. And then I was ordering a coffee refill, a refresh of my Nespresso pod things, and their offer was their coffee machines were super cheap. So I got one to put up on the 3rd floor because I only have one on the 1st and 2nd floor of the house so far. So I got that.
Can I just say I did buy something last week, and I'll tell you after the show because I don't know if family members are watching the show right now, but I was able to find a Curb Your Enthusiasm inspired Christmas gift that worked for every single member of my family. It's the same gift. So I love it when you can find one gift that makes sense for everyone in your family. So you could just buy you buy everybody one of them. Yep. Not being lazy, but you really think that gift is going to work for all of them. So I did that last week. I bought it, and everyone's done. The whole my parents, my brother, my sister, my other brother, they're all getting the same thing. And it's good. Curb Your Enthusiasm inspired this last season. I love it.
Dave, what lens did you get, Dave?
I bought a Sigma 35 millimeter f1.2.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I didn't even realize they made it f1.2 until I saw another YouTuber talking about it. Maddie Hapoya, whatever it is, Hapoya. Can never say that right. But I put that in my Amazon cart and then said save for later, and it was a little bit less. I mean, it was still ridiculously expensive, but I decided just try it, throw it on here. If I like it better than the f1.8 that I'm shooting with now, it becomes my everyday lens, and you guys are worth it. If it makes me look 2% better, that's worth it, right?
Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
So I didn't buy a single gift for anyone. Oh, I also bought one of these, the SSD T7 things that just showed up today.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a super fast external hard drive for my. Oh, and I bought a new MacBook Air, but that should be arriving today. That was not a Black Friday or Cyber Monday purchase. That was just they announced a new product, so I had to buy it purchase.
Before we get into, the show, like the actual show, I want to say something about the strategy on today's show. This is one of the most important weekends of the year normally for me for social arb investing. Mm-hmm. I just want to say this is one of the most important months in a normal year. In a normal year, I usually make more trades between November and January than I make the entire rest of the year. Why? Well, a lot of social arb investing is connected to kind of trends and consumer behavior and products, right? And weather, right? And so this is when you normally see a tremendous amount of change happening. And we're all about early detecting change, connecting the dots, and making investments based on change. So I was really excited going into the last couple weeks. And quite honestly, guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't know, I spent probably 15 to 20 hours deep diving social arb holiday shopping research this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I was literally on my laptop the entire weekend, in and out of Discord, pulling stats, pulling G-trends on Twitter, on Reddit, like on every single place that you could extrapolate any type of theme of what people were spending their money on, what people are searching for. I must have had 400 tags I was looking at on Twitter. I do my umbrella tags. I'm looking at, okay, are people saying that this is sold out? Are people looking to buy this? Like, what kind of lines are at these stores? This has never been harder. It's never been a harder year. Why? There are so many extraneous factors going on right now, guys, that this work is so hard this year because on one hand, people are not shopping as much at brick and mortar. So even when you're seeing a lift in the social data, a lift in the search data, that doesn't always necessarily translate to a lift in total business. And then you also have China, and based on reports we've seen from the last 7 to 10 days, that China consumerism is on fire. So even if you see a depressed level of search activity or social activity here in the US related to people purchasing a certain brand or certain category or sector of goods, you have to question yourself, well, okay, people are buying less Columbia sportswear jackets or whatever it is, I'll use a more realistic example, one that I was actually looking at. People are purchasing less Uggs, it looks like. It looks like less Uggs here in the U.S. Now, Uggs are a division, obviously, of Decor Outdoors, D-E-C-K. It's a stock that I've traded for a decade now, every holiday season, and I've nailed it almost every holiday season. It's such an easy one to trade, but the degree that might be on fire globally in China, right, or other brands like Canada Goose might be killing it in China right now, even though they might not be killing it as much here in the U.S. This is tough, man. This is a tough. So we'll talk about it. Let's talk about all this stuff. But I just want to say that we're not going to be walking away with any mind-blowing, pure, perfect social arb holiday trades. At least I'm not on this episode. And I want you to know, before we do this, I put in the work for you guys. I put in the work for this channel this weekend. So this is not a result of us not putting in the work. It's just complicated this year.
And we were talking about doing a Black Friday episode, and you needed more time to research. So that's why you're getting a Cyber Monday episode with some Black Friday wrapped in, because it's basically all the same thing. It's all shopping and retail, and who's going to be the big winners and potential losers this holiday season.
And by the way, we do have good ideas that are going to come out of this research. I almost want. Listen, I think this episode's more about airing what we found and then having the community build upon that, right?
Yes.
Like having the community take what we're about to say, and then the community could do additional due diligence. And I look forward to reading what our community in Discord, the Dumb Money Discord, what they want to do with this information, because I'm perplexed, quite honestly. It's just a tough one, guys. Really, really tough one.
So where do you want to start?
Can we start with something that is
individual products?
I just want to just throw out something random that's untradeable, to the best of my knowledge. But there seems to be an increase in interest this holiday season in vacuum cleaners. Okay, so you might think, okay, there's an increase in interest in vacuum cleaners, so I should go out and buy iRobot, right? But
that was on my list.
I could not really correlate the increased interest in vacuum cleaners to robotic vacuum cleaners. Not that there isn't one, but there's so many other storylines with iRobot, and with that sector getting really crowded, and there's so many competitors, there's a lot of noise, expectations are high. It's not a clean trade. By the way, Dave, we bought one this week. I just want to let you know that. I didn't buy it. My wife bought it, and we almost got into an argument about it. I didn't want to buy it.
Which one did you get?
She wanted it, and she got it, and we have one downstairs. You're a big fan, right?
I'm a big fan. I have two of them. I always buy the latest, greatest, and I don't know why, but the one I have is the one that has the canister that when it runs, it goes back to home base and then sucks its whatever it's done into its bigger canister. Which
that's what we got.
It's the only way to go. Like literally, they're kind of worthless if you have carpet or anything, because it pulls up the lint from carpet and then it fills up its bag after being out for 30 minutes. So it needs to go home and empty itself.
Correct. By the way, the people are commenting here about Shark and Dyson. Actually, Shark and Dyson are the two companies I want to buy, but I can't. And I actually, for a second, looked at the private market for Dyson to see if I could find any easily accessible shares on Dyson. And it's a stock that it's a company I've looked into in the past. They are red hot right now. Shark is red hot as well. But you can't buy them, guys. There's just not really vacuum trades out there.
It's not a pure play. Like,
doesn't the owner of that founder of Dyson own like most of the company?
Yeah. I think that there's rumors that they're going to IPO.
Yeah, they should.
But
the only pure play robot or non-robot or just vacuum cleaner at all. I mean, who else makes vacuums? It's like Hoover and like these brands that are part
nobody
of
buys
mega
that.
conglomerates.
Miele makes a really nice vacuum. That's what we've got.
Who does?
Yeah, and by the way, Jordan, I didn't even really, I wasn't really looking at, you might be able to buy Miele. They're involved with so many other things.
Yeah, the problem with Miele is that their vacuum division it can't be that much, and they're really expensive vacuums, and they're like old school. I think all the new, they're not doing robot vacuums or any of the new cool stuff that people are doing.
Totally correct. So I just want to throw out one that we could not invest in because it annoyed me. Because that was one would have been really clean.
And iRobot is on my second tier picks for today's stocks.
I'll tell you what I definitely am seeing an uplift in. I think there are potentially some trades here, guys. Mm-hmm. You might have noticed this. Holiday decor, holiday decorations are way up this year. In fact, even if you do a Google G-Trend chart for Christmas tree, something as simple as Christmas tree, which are like, well, not everybody gets Christmas trees. Of course not. But just the mere fact that, Christmas tree, and there's been some news articles about this too, that they're seeing an uplift in demand for trees. I think everyone's kind of stuck in their home and they're just looking for more of a warm, kind of happy environment this year. And they're more focused on that maybe than they have been in years prior. I know that we we've kind of had an uptick by about 150% in terms of our holiday decorations in this house. But that could be.
How's that even possible? There's no space
I don't
left.
I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it.
That shelf is full.
Dave, I don't even want to talk about it. I have a Christmas tree in this room now that I'm in, which has never happened before. 2, actually.
Well,
you
and
have
behind you,
multiple
the table,
Christmas
you can't see it in the
trees?
shop,
Oh my
but that
gosh.
also has like 5 Christmas items on it.
We have, Jordan, I'm going to say that I'm going to counting in my head. Just take a guess. Take a guess how many, including starting with this big, okay, which is like.
Oh, you're going to include that big? Oh, we've got like
feet.
1 or 2 of those.
3, please.
Yeah.
Stop. Okay, yeah, I'm going to just take a guess how many are in the house. Yes, how many are in the house?
I'm going to guess 7 to 10.
Starting with 2 to 3 feet and 3 feet and higher.
7?
Wait.
I'm going to say 25.
25.
7 or 8. 7 or 8 trees.
Oh my gosh.
My wife just said 10, but 7 to 10 trees.
I mean, it depends on what you count a tree, because like I have this tree and I have like 3 of those, and then I have these little trees up in this shelf.
Okay, Dave, I'm defining it as one that you have to decorate.
Okay.
Okay.
Decorating trees. I can barely deal with one. Although I did go shopping, I did try to maybe buy a new 12-foot tree for the house this year. This might be the year. I was on the Black Friday sale on that was it Balsam Hill website?
Yeah.
Almost bought a $1,500 tree, but I didn't do it. I think my current tree is going to last a couple more years.
So here's the thing, guys. What do you think? Listen, it's not just trees. It's holiday decor in general is way up. So, where's the question is, where is the trade there, right? And so one obvious place is Etsy, because Etsy's selling a lot of holiday decor. The problem with Etsy, and we talked about Etsy a few weeks ago, Etsy is on fire right now, guys. Yeah. It's just on fire. And one of the complex things that I want to talk about in today's show that makes these trades really difficult is we have an overhang, the bounce back pandemic overhang, meaning there are a lot of the trades that I would normally put on as a result of my research. To an extent, I'm like, okay, but this is also going to be a pandemic kind of pullback stock where like Etsy is at risk of, does anyone even care what they do this quarter, or are they focused on 2021 at this point, right? So that's something you have to think about.
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. The same thing with, Target, Walmart, and Costco. They've all been just crushing it throughout this whole ordeal. And, when does the momentum swing out for those guys?
Jordan, this is the hardest holiday season trading session I've ever had for that exact reason. Yeah. But if you don't worry about that, I will. So what I'm looking for, guys, ultimately at the end of this episode, I'm trying to find holiday stocks that are benefiting from this holiday more than the market would have anticipated, that don't have some other factor like a post-pandemic factor that they'll be trading on, or something else like China, something else. I can't really say that for Etsy, so it's not a clean trade for me. I will say Home Depot comes up, right? Home Depot actually has a ton of holiday decor that people buy, like big stuff. They think of Home Depot for a lot of the big stuff they're buying for the holidays. They've been stocking a lot of that. But it also plays into another area that's super hot right now, which is kind of appliances and stuff as well, I've noticed. So like I was just looking, like a lot of the traffic, it seems like, air filters, for example. I don't even know why these are still so big, but right now air filtration is still big. I know that was a trend back in August and September, but we're still seeing a pretty big trend in any type of air filtration machines. Also seeing kind of an uptick in just home appliances in general, refrigeration. I don't know, maybe you can check the Google search for fridge, or I forget if that was particularly up, but I was noticing a lot of uptick in these areas of just appliances.
I mean, that just kind of goes along the home improvement trend that we've been seeing throughout this whole, 2020.
Well, you know what's interesting, Jordan? Is that fridge? Yeah,
that was fridge.
That's what I'm talking about. So what's interesting, guys, is that we always think holidays is buying gifts for people, but the reality is what people don't understand about holiday purchases is this season is equally about people just purchasing stuff in general, not just purchasing gifts. But like Dave, what you just talked about, Black Friday, you probably
bought more stuff for myself because everything's on sale. And so, yeah, you're right. It is the entertaining things. Like if you traditionally have people over, you're going to, maybe this is the year that you need a bigger refrigerator or freezer or whatever. But I don't see that as much this year. But it is all about the things that you, like kind of the home improvement things that you want to do anyway. And we've already seen that trend all year long, basically, of people doing the painting job that they hadn't done yet, or doing the little home improvement projects, or all of that stuff.
Yeah, you're right. And when we're talking about appliances, another area that's just on fire right now is anything related to cooking. Okay, so we have some appliances there. Air fryer is super hot. Look for air fryer, Dave. Like air fryer on G Trends. It's insane. The demand for this stuff is just through the roof right now. So Home Depot will benefit also from a little bit of that. You know who really benefits from that though? Is another big box retailer that's also red hot right now, Best Buy. So Best Buy seems to be at the crossroads of this area of all the hot things, which right now is technology. People are just buying technology. They're buying anything, just gadgets, anything related to electronics. But they're also Best Buy. What are they? Best Buy, 50% of the store is appliances, guys, right?
Yeah.
Right now. So people have to realize that. The problem with Best Buy is what you just said, Jordan. They're super hot because they've been one of these big box trades. They're benefiting where others aren't because they have an excellent curbside service, right? Deliver excellent e-commerce presence. Is that a company that's going to kind of pull back once we kind of get closer, and we're only weeks away from vaccine going out?
I don't know. I mean, so they did a really good job of kind of like redoing themselves because they were a dying brand. You've got to realize, I mean, not too long ago, 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago, and they kind of rebranded themselves as the technology experts and helpful expertise for, I hate to say it, but boomers, right?
Yeah, and so if you read through their last quarterly report, which is pretty recent, and this will take us into another trade idea, something that's hot right now, the big issue for them this quarter that they put big warnings out is cost of inventory, because the shipping costs have gone up so high. The logistics companies and the shippers, they are paying a lot more money to stock these stores now and to move around logistically, to move stuff around and getting inventory. So their cost of merch is higher than it's ever been. And so that was a big warning for Best Buy this next quarter. So that's what makes me think, I'm not with Best Buy is kind of at that good place for this holiday season in getting the appliance business, getting the technology business, but they've already warned about cost. There's going to be a little bit of a pullback trade maybe in Best Buy potentially, right? When the stay at home is unraveling next quarter, because Best Buy benefits from electronics and webcams and all the stuff we've been talking about for 9 months, right? So I'm not super excited about Best Buy, but when they said that, again, logistics is hot. So like I'm an XPO, it's been killing it. I think mail, shipping, anything related, but again, where are the expectations on all this stuff? It's already sky high. This is not a secret trade. Look at FedEx and UPS. Their stocks, it's insane, right? So it's like, where is the arbitrage opportunity in all this stuff? That's what I'm having trouble finding this year. Where's the arbitrage? There is, we do have a high conviction report that was done in our Discord channel, dumbmoney.tv/Discord for anyone that is interested. There's a high conviction channel, and someone did a high conviction report on Stamps.com. Remember when we were looking at Stamps.com earlier this year, guys? Well, they've come way back down, way back down. I mean, they're still really high, but you could make a case that Stamps.com is going to crush this quarter. So, like, look at companies like Shopify. You know, Shopify's up today because everything is moving. Everything's moving e-com for the holidays, right? And that's another big holiday trend. But Stamps.com benefits equally to a Shopify. And the only thing keeping me, and I do have Stamps.com options, okay? So I have calls on Stamps.com. So I'm in it long already. The issue is Stamps.com is another company that could potentially sell off just because as a post-pandemic sell-off trade, right? And so they're in the same ballpark, and it makes it so frustrating to trade these. How do you get conviction around this stuff if you don't know what the market is going to be trading on next week? Like, are they trading on February, March, April, or are they trading on this quarter, the holiday quarter? I don't even know. Do you?
No one knows, and that's why the stock market exists. So how far in the future are we pricing things like Stamps.com? The fact that they're down so much, it might already be pricing in the post-pandemic bounce back. Nobody needs to mail anything.
They are pricing that in, but Dave, does that also kind of put a cap on this stuff? I mean, Stamps.com is a company that moves so dramatically. I mean, it overmoves. I mean, the stock moves up 40, 50% on a whim. It's ridiculous. So it's not a stock I feel comfortable having a crazy amount of money in. And that's why I kind of have just a small amount of options. I want to lower my downside on them.
And Stamps.com, primarily or originally, their business was all about small businesses and making it easier for small businesses to be able to mail things, print their own stamps, do that kind of thing. But they're shifting into trying to be more of an enterprise company as well. But the bigger enterprises, the Amazons of the world, are not using Stamps.com for their shipping.
Well, Amazon is not, but hundreds of thousands of companies that use Shopify are using Stamps.com for they have like Shipping Station. They have like 7 companies that collectively do all this stuff. And there's a lot of buzz out there that Shopify would potentially purchase Stamps.com. That'd be a hell of an acquisition, and that would make so much sense. And I'm not against owning some stamps, okay? I'm not against owning Stamps.com. I just want to be careful. It's not something I can have high conviction in, even though I think the trends are fully in their favor this quarter. I want to have some presence in stamps. I just don't want to go overboard in it because I just can't get my conviction level up without understanding what the market's trading. It's just so frustrating. But listen, it's a trend, right? I mean, it's a bit. By the way, guys, we'll talk about Collector's Universe later. I see it in the comments. They got acquired today. But yeah, we'll talk about that later, guys. Guys, anything pop up that you've been seeing? Like, what have you? I have a couple others.
So I haven't started researching it yet, but I have paid attention because I'm looking at new lenses and stuff like that for my cameras. Canon stuff is selling like crazy right now. People can't keep the R5 body in stock like at all, and they're coming out with new lenses for the RF series cameras like crazy. I know. I agree that I'm doing the same thing, and I'm having a hard time getting conviction around it. But I just see that you can't. I mean, these retailers aren't able to keep this stuff in stock, and everybody's upgrading all their RF lenses. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't see like the search traffic, and the biggest problem is that Canon's they're a big conglomerate, and they're in all sorts of printing and healthcare and all sorts of stuff that healthcare imaging, and so it's hard to build a case around just that.
Another one, Sony's also cameras are hot, and they have the new A7S III, and I just bought more lenses for them. But again, they're a giant conglomerate. They make TVs and home theaters and
gaming consoles,
all sorts of things. Yeah, well, and they're also an entertainment studio, and they have. So for a lot of reasons, I actually kind of like Sony just because they are involved in a lot of things that are hot this holiday season. but they're also just an ADR. It's hard to trade. It's not.
And Dave, I mean, Sony is so that is so well telegraphed. I mean, with the PS5, the Sony trade is. I'm in Sony. I've been in Sony. I've been killing it, but it's so well telegraphed that it's really hard. I'm not in it big because it's like, okay, at what point, the market gets all. They know it. They know that PS5 is the hottest thing to hit all year, right? They can't make enough of them. I think that was a mistake. They should have made more.
That's why I was looking at Canon, because it's so far down. They're not like a big name brand like Sony. I mean, sure, they're recognizable, but they're not, they're not in gaming consoles and things like that. And so it seems like they might be a sleeper. I need to do some more research on it.
Yeah, I just not seeing the data. And Jordan, you would think the data would be way up because you're not going to your camera. I mean, you're doing this exclusively online during the pandemic, right? And so
yeah,
it's odd to me. It's just odd to me. And I've seen that like Lululemon's a perfect example. Like we have some people in Discord that are like, there's these new bell-bottom basically leggings. Call them yoga pants. It's what traditional yoga pants are.
Are they yeggings? Is that what they're called now?
The what?
Yeggings? Is that
something? Yeah. I mean, so they're hot, right? But like, and I know Lulu's doing great, and I know they're selling out of this stuff, but I'm not seeing search traffic on Lulu is not particularly impressive and way lower than what I would have anticipated seeing out of them this week, especially with they have the Lulu face mask that's on fire right now. You can't even buy them. They sold out online, then they put them in stores. Like they made this super comfortable, supposedly face mask, Lulu style. I don't know how much they charge for it, probably 10 times too much. But like I'm surprised that some of the data isn't showing up as strong as I would imagine it to be. And that's why I'm going to wait to kind of check out my similar web, Dave. What is that?
So I'm reluctant on Lulu because my wife, for instance, has found this Amazon brand that's maybe $20 for a pair of leggings, and they look great. I mean, like they look just almost as good a quality as the Lulu. So has Lulu and Athleta, they've kind of owned this market for a long time.
There's actually my big thesis of the day actually falls in that segment. So I'll just tell you right now. So the most interesting trade of the weekend for me, I'll just put it out there. I have not traded it yet. I have not traded it. Okay. Because again, expectations are pretty high for this company, but I'm thinking about trading it today. TikTok, all right? There was a TikTok trend that went viral on November 20th, okay? Gosh, I should have sent you a link to this so you can put it on the show right now, Dave. So on TikTok, let me just pull it up. It is a trend for... Sorry, guys, I'm pulling up TikTok right now. It is a trend for crossover leggings, okay? Crossover, if you go on TikTok, Dave, and you just search for Aerie, A-E-R-I-E leggings, you're going to see a video. There's this one girl in particular that came out November 20th and did this dance to her crossover leggings. It went crazy viral on TikTok, and now Aerie, which is owned by American Eagle Outfitters, okay, has sold out nationally of every one of these crossover leggings. So it's like so these leggings have been like really popular for the past couple months, and Gen Z and Aerie has just done a knock-up job of like tailoring their marketing to Gen Z. They might be the very last mall store to like really kill it. Like they're still killing it, okay? These leggings have been like a cult following, and now that it went viral on TikTok, it's exploded. And Aerie, can't, like if you do certain searches on Twitter for where the heat is in terms of things selling out, about 1 out of every 5 or 6 comments is related to these Aerie crossover leggings. It's incredible, right? So the question is, American Eagle's already hot right now. They're a mall store, right? And yet they're already hot. The market loves them. So how much more room do we have in American Eagle in terms of market expectation, versus outperforming that market expectation? Yeah. I don't know, but I'm kind of thinking I'm going to buy some American Eagle because I'm so impressed with what Aerie is doing with their marketing and with their buzz and with their products. Like, you should see these girls talking about these crossover leggings on TikTok. They're obsessed. I mean, completely obsessed. This is not going anywhere, guys. This trend is going to be going on for months and months and months, and it's going to get girls into Aerie stores. It's going to get girls onto Aerie's website, and I have a funny feeling that, you know, as retail goes, you usually don't just buy the one thing you went to the store for, right? Once you get in the store, you buy other stuff. So I think that Aerie, in particular, is going to have a blowout quarter that will benefit American Eagle. And that, I think, is probably the cleanest trade I was able to pull out of this weekend in terms of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because the trend hit right around Black Friday. Like,
I've been trying to figure out how to do a search on TikTok, but I can't get logged in from a computer. But this is Aerie's account. See if you recognize the video. These are all just things that they have reposted. There's Charlie D'Amelio. Let's see what she did.
Hold on. No, and that's Charlie. That's not the video. But here's the deal. I'll send it to you, Dave. But what you should look at Aerie leggings on G Trends. Pull a G Trends. It's gonna blow your mind. For AERI, I think it was AERIE leggings on G Trends. I will pull the video on TikTok and send it to you. Aerie leggings are the best is the tag, by the way.
Here's a 5-year chart on that on Google Analytics, which I've never quite seen a chart like this, where it is just a flat line for 5 years and then 100% on the last day of the chart.
So Dave, can you? I just sent you a text with the video, the TikTok video.
Let me find it.
This is like the main one. This is the one that started it. And now you have all these TikTok accounts that went viral. So you can see how it has like a V cut at the top. They're super high-waisted leggings, like super high-waisted. And supposedly it makes them super comfortable, I guess, because there's like, I guess they're both comfortable and flattering to this Gen Z consumer. And that's what the buzz is all about. And so again, one of the hottest Gen Z things right now are these crossover leggings for Aerie. And I think I might just buy some stock right now, guys, now that I'm talking about it. What am I waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Do it.
The live trade.
I'm just going to do it, man. Hold on. I haven't owned American Eagle in so long. AEO. They're down a little bit today, like the market is. I'll just put an initial trade. I'm just going to small trade in 5,000 shares just to get it started. And I'm going to purchase a little bit more over the next few weeks as I continue to check the data. But it's one I want to be in. I could see myself getting up to 20,000, maybe 30,000 shares of American Eagle based on this trade. So,
and they're at like a 52-week high basically, but down a little bit today. So maybe this is your time to buy.
Like 47. I mean, it's scary getting in a company like this when the hype is so big. The thing about it, guys, they will win from all the other destruction happening in retail, right? So they're expanding the Aerie brand. They're kind of pulling back on the American Eagle brand a little bit. So they're closing, I think, 50 stores next year in American Eagle, but they're expanding the Aerie brand. And they're also, when all the other retailers are getting crushed and just trying to figure out how to survive, they're coming out with new concept stores, okay? They have a store called Unsubscribed that they just opened up. They have like brand new concept stores for Gen Z, and they're just, man, they're crushing it. So I'm in. I'm going to get in more over the next couple weeks, I think. But definitely want to keep an eye on.
It's a good one. Okay. That was not on my list.
So can I ask you guys a question? So here's the thing. I wish that kitchen goods weren't on fire all summer, because I would love to buy Williams-Sonoma right now, because I'll tell you, anything related to kitchen, like mixers and stuff like that, like it seems that that's where all the buzz is. right now. Kitchen stuff, pots, pans, even the word just pan is doing really well.
Now, so merging two things you've talked about, kitchenwares and appliances, have you looked at any of the Hamilton Beach type stocks or major kitchen appliances like Electrolux?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I didn't look deeply. Which ones?
I couldn't think of many that were actually publicly traded companies that made small appliances. There was one this summer that we looked at that like does a version of like a crock pot. I can't remember the name of that company.
You're talking about Spectrum Brands.
But they do way too many things, including like insect repellent.
Yeah. They're in 4 segments, and the small appliance is just one of their segments.
Hamilton Beach is here, and you know they've just done really well since summer, but that might be something to look at. Electrolux is a foreign company, so it's an ADR, but
yeah, Hamilton Beach. There was a reason. I mean, they have done really well. They have done really well. I would consider a Hamilton Beach trade. They are in some of those areas. Again, guys, we're more surfacing things in this episode than conclusively coming out with worth a trade, because one, we're not financial advisors and we don't want to tell you what to trade, right? We don't know your risk tolerance. We barely know how to trade this holiday data ourselves right now, as you can tell. It's just really tough. I don't want to act like we know exactly what we're doing, because this is a really complex trade. There's a lot of variables that are happening right now. And by the way, if we had a big stimulus that I knew for sure was coming in the $2+ trillion, range in January, I have more confidence around some of these. But it's tough, guys. It's tough. What else do we got?
I mean, I'll tell you my go-to, Amazon, right? They are off of their all-time highs, and they are a company that you're going to want to be in, that I want to be in long-term anyway. Shopify, a company that I own and will continue to own. We talked about FedEx, UPS, but I am considering buying some UPS, even though they are expensive right now. And then the other companies that I personally and you personally have bought from that round out my list. I think that's all I really have on my list.
Well, Dave, there's one more on your list. Roku is one of the top performing data names I've seen in the last few weeks. If you pull a G-Trends chart for Roku, it's exceptionally strong. Now, I sold my Roku, a week and a half ago. Yeah. I wish I didn't. I sold it because I needed cash. I needed cash for some of my bounce back trades. So I sold my Roku, but now I'm kind of regretting it because, boy, they continue to put up the data. They really do. Is that just a G-Trends?
That's a G-Trends 5 years US Roku search term.
It's really strong for November. They've far exceeded the last November spike, it looks like. And are you looking at US or global?
This is US.
Pull up global. I think it might get better on global. I think that's what I pulled up. I'm not sure. Yeah, so there's
globally.
Yeah, Roku is really strong right now. I would consider getting back into Roku. I'm thinking about it. There is one trade we haven't talked about, and it's such an obvious one. Just as a sector, and I want to talk about my favorite in the sector. Everyone's talking about video games, right? Everyone's talking about our Discord is really into peripherals right now. They're talking about headsets, and yeah, the headset trade is hot. There's what's it called? HEAR here, something beach,
Turtle Beach.
Turtle Beach. But guys, I think still, and I regret not getting this earlier this year. There's so much action on PlayStation and Xbox, but you know who's killing it? Nintendo, man. Like, it's unbelievable. You can't get a Switch. In fact, so I pulled some data that showed that Nintendo Switch, believe it or not, was like the top performing console. Games. Nintendo Switch games accounted for 38% of box sales during Black Friday week. That's a 9% uptick in Switch games, from Black Friday 2019. Okay. Now, what's interesting is there was a lot of stock that arrived right as the PS5 and the Xbox were selling out, right? So what's happening is you can't get an Xbox, you can't get a PS5 right now. Switch is already red hot. And I thought, man, I just can't buy Nintendo going into a super cycle that they're not participating in. But they're selling every Switch they can sell. In fact, not only are they selling those Switches, but they have a couple really good games that are selling out right now for Switch. The new Mario game is out. Like, they are just crushing it. And I'm seriously considering putting a Nintendo trade back on. I haven't had a Nintendo trade on in over a year. But that's something that I'm considering as well, because I think Switch and Nintendo, they're going to have a massive, massive winter. Massive. Literally every gaming console they can sell, they're selling right now. You can't get one. You can't buy one. It's no easier to get than a PS5, which is unbelievable. So I actually think Nintendo is my favorite gaming trade right here, believe it or not.
Interesting.
So, by the way, I want to say we are going to have, there's that new game that's coming out this week. We've been talking about on the show for a few weeks. We are going to have an episode just on that game. It was Cyberpunk. We have a special guest that will be coming on the show. I don't know what day this week, guys. I think there's a day, and we're trying to get him on this week. So we will be focusing on gaming this week. But Nintendo, that I think is the obvious trade. Yeah, Animal Crossing is doing well. Guys, 5G, I'm not super interested in 5G right now, and I can't figure out why. I just feel like the 5G hype, it's not living up to the hype. Am I wrong?
Well, there's a lot of people who aren't going out as much, and so you don't need fast data on the go as much right now. And multiple
it's also got limited
variations of
rollout,
5G.
right? And I've heard that if you're not super close to one of these 5G antennas, so if they haven't rolled it out ubiquitously across the city, then it's really not all that helpful.
And it kind of depends on which technology. So there's two bands of 5G, and one travels further but isn't as fast, and the other travels shorter. And if you're right next to the tower, you're going to get amazing speeds. But the fact that they have two versions, it makes it more confusing to consumers, and is it less exciting overall, because you hear things like it's hard to get good speeds.
Personally, I could literally care less about it. Like, what am I doing? Like, checking stock prices? I can do that on LTE just fine, or on Wi-Fi.
I also saw that 5G performance dropped massively right when the phones came out. Like, when people started using them, the performance dropped on AT&T or Verizon. I guess T-Mobile supposedly maybe has a better 5G network.
Well, yeah, you just find out where the bottleneck is, right? And so it turns out that the bottleneck isn't always the antenna, right?
Yeah, I don't care about 5G. You know, it got so overhyped, guys. I bought into it for a while. Got so overhyped. I don't think it's living up to the hype. I don't think people care as much about 5G in the short term. I think in the long term, as applications get built for 5G, right? As we start kind of building more IoT devices to leverage 5G networks on kind of an institutionalized basis, right, across appliances and various things, I think 5G is really important. But I think for a 2021 trade, I don't know if it lives up to the hype. So I'm not focused. Someone's asking, are you looking at 5G? I'm not really looking at 5G trades right now, guys. It's just not something I'm looking at. By the way, question, people like, hey, what do you think about the cycle from growth stocks to value stocks? Guys, that's just not what we do on this channel. I don't really care about growth versus value. I just want to ARB information. That's it. I want to ARB trends, ARB any type of consumer change of behavior, buying patterns, technology changes, anything that's a change agent in culture or life or in the world. That's what we're doing. We're trying to ARB those things. What else, guys? I mean, this. I told you it was complicated. We extracted some interesting trends, and I looked at everything. By the way, I looked at makeup. I looked at mattresses. I looked at every single like consumer sector. I must have pulled 500 G-trend charts this weekend. And every time I would pull one, if there was an anomaly, I would then kind of look at where the hype was and, see if there's some other factor. And there was nothing was clean. Nothing like got me super excited. Every time I started to get a little excited about some data point, there was something to counter it. So, like I said, I look at Uggs. I think one thing that's really interesting is this weather trade. Like Uggs don't seem like they're performing quite as well. At least they weren't as of this weekend. Maybe the G-trend chart got better for them. But then again, who knows what's happening in China? Like you see some of these reports out of China the last few weeks, and they're just crushing it with consumer products. So they might be able to make up for stuff in China. I think Goose came out and said they killed it in China, and they're seeing really positive signs in China. So it just makes the trade really, really hard, really hard. So I kind of wanted to short deck on the UGG data, but by the way, this data can change rapidly here towards the end of the month. So now the data on UGGs is, well, let's see, they're still short of last year by a pretty wide margin. Last year, their G trends topped out on the word Uggs at 84, and we're topping out right now at 68. And you're looking at a stock that is so overhyped coming out of the summer on Deck. I mean, Deck has other stuff going on besides UGG, and certainly they do have such a broader diversity of merchandise now. They have blankets, right? They have robes, they have slippers. Their other brands seem to be doing reasonably well. Their sneaker brand's doing great, but I don't like what I'm seeing in the UGG data. And if I had confirmation that this data was global, that would be a really bad sign for Deck. So one of the things I'm going to watch in the next couple of weeks is if I start to see a reduction in pricing of Uggs. So I was already on the Uggs website, and they had a 25% off sale, but nothing significant. What you want to look at is when they start discounting the basic Uggs, just the basic core Uggs. If they start to discount that heavily, that's a red flag for Deck. That is a big red flag for Deck. You don't just look at the UGG website. You got to look at Nordstrom's, and you got to look at Macy's. Okay, yeah. I check that every year. So that's what I'm focused on. By the way, let's tell the opposite story right now, guys. Crocs is still looking really strong through Black Friday weekend. One thing I noticed, and I'll shoot you this text, Dave, Crocs boots are on fire. They are sold out. I'm going to shoot you this text right now.
Well, here's a Uggs versus Crocs chart, and that's kind of interesting.
Uggs versus Crocs, amazing, dude. Check out that Crocs boot. It's kind of like the UGG of Crocs that I just texted you, Dave, you and Jordan. What you'll notice is that boot that I just sent you, that pic, is sold out of every single size. I'll try to show you. Oh, there you go.
Man, that is the ugliest shoe I've ever seen in my life.
The Neo Puff.
You just don't have the style sense, man. It's
my goodness.
2020. Uggs are hot, dude. That you combine Uggs with boots.
Insane.
Hey, it's still available in my size.
There, dude.
I can order these right now. They're the hottest thing ever. Maybe I should get them.
Are you gonna wear it? Are you gonna go white?
I'm not buying those shoes. Are you kidding me?
It's pretty. You got to be commit with the white. They get dirty too fast.
I would love to do anything to see Hanson wearing those. Dave, I would love to see you wear those. That would make my whole year.
I'm not sure exactly when the right occasion to wear your white Neo Puff lined boot. When exactly is the right time to wear that? What season? Obviously winter, but
dude, Dave, that is it becomes a house boot. If you're taking out the trash and it's cold or wet or snowing, that's what you want to wear. You want to wear a rubber, comfy boot that you don't have to wear a sock with. You can just slide your
A
foot
rubber
right in
boot
there.
sounds just cold and uninviting to begin with, and then add
that-
It's
fluff,
lined, Dave.
some
It's
kind
lined.
of fluff lining. That
It's lined with poly.
that doesn't sound that much
Crocs
better.
poly.
Poly, no, I want pure wool. You know that.
You are a snooty, high-end, non-representative person. Okay, you're not representative of the 200 million people that would love to have a comfy poly-lined Croc boot for $69. Okay?
I agree, but for a mere $95, you can get my house slipper, which is rubber bottomed so that you can actually go outside and take out the trash or walk the dog or that sort of thing. And it's all wool. I don't know why this guy's wearing socks with it, because they work perfectly without socks.
You could get the UGG version of that for 30-something bucks. Anyway, I'll let it be. Let it be. My YouTube now. I lost my YouTube. There we go. So yeah, I'm kind of sticking with Crocs. I'm potentially maybe looking at shorting Deck. Maybe. I'm nervous about China. Okay. I'm nervous that I'm going to short Deck, and they're going to come out, and China is just going to be like, we just took all the Deck inventory, all the UGG inventory, all the stuff that Americans didn't buy, we're buying it all. But if I see a price drop in the U.S., I will likely short Deck on that, okay? If I see a significant price, if I see them start to drop prices on the core UGGs, okay?
How are you feeling about Canada Goose or Montclair?
So here's the deal with Jordan. It's the same story. Dude, ready for this, by the way? I just got a text from SimilarWeb. They've officially reactivated I think they're watching the episode. They officially reactivated my account, so now I can pull historical stats on SimilarWeb. Jordan, so Goose came out and said that they were crushing it in China, and otherwise I would have. There's another high conviction trade thesis in our Discord channel that is essentially short Goose, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to do that if you don't really know about China. I'm going to do a G trends. And on a lot of these, by the way, it never used to be like this, right? 6 years ago, we were never really kind of hesitant to put a trade on because of China data that we couldn't quite see.
But it's not even the China data, it's just a weird year.
It is a weird year. Dave, could you pull a Canada Goose G-trend chart? It's really interesting.
Okay, here is 12 months worldwide for Canada Goose. Let me pull up 5 years.
Yeah, 5 year.
So we're kind of not at the high, but let's see where that was. Their high was November 10th last year.
Yeah.
The year before that, it was November 18th. So we've already seen the high month and day.
And we're not even close to last year. Not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah. So
wait, was that worldwide?
Again, worldwide. China, like China.
Well, do they normalize these results for China? Like if you search for Canada Goose using the different, they're a totally different character set.
Yeah, Google's not. It's not. Gosh, guys, I wish we could get. We must wrap our heads around a good China data set, Jordan.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Weibo, a quantitative search data set for China. 5 years ago, I didn't care. I was like curious to see what that would look like. Now it's preventing me from trading. If I can't get, kind of some site, into China data, I can't get confidence around this stuff because it's screwed me multiple times in the past. I have gotten slaughtered on having a high conviction trade in the U.S. and I get killed because of China data. And China does not move like the U.S., especially not right now. Remember, they're coming out of the pandemic, guys. China has been out of the pandemic for like 7 months, completely out, right? They're going on vacation now. They're having their roaring 2020s. It's starting there, right? And so it's what's making me really nervous, because I don't know, they could buy up all that Goose merchandise here in the next 60 days, and especially going into Chinese New Year. Makes it really hard. Guys, for anyone watching, this episode is really, we always talk about our thought process. Never more than today have we really gone into our process. We're just like being really fluid with you all day. This is how we think. When you're investing and you're trying to put on a $1 million trade or $2 or $3 million trade, and this is big money. It's big money trading for us. You have to think of all this stuff, right? You can't just see a pretty data chart and be like, oh, G-Trends is up, I'm in, or G-Trends is down, I'm shorting it. Like, you can do that when you're playing around, and you can, you don't mind getting slaughtered. I don't want to lose, I don't want to take that big of a loss. I'm not, that's not what we do. Due diligence is everything. So for every, hour that we sit here and talk about this stuff, I personally spend probably 5 to 10 hours researching. And so it's every single day. This is all we do. We try to play devil's advocate on every data source that we look at. Oh, by the way, guys, shoot, I just missed a meeting. I got to hop. I'm so sorry. I literally have a 12 o'clock meeting that I completely missed.
That's
like the biggest jerk. I've got to go.
Okay, well,
I'm just gonna hop.
We actually have a place to send everyone while you go, because we do have a new episode debuting on the OG Dumb Money channel. So if you guys want to head over to youtube.com/Dumb Money, it's not there yet, but I hear that it is ready, and it will be there very soon. So just go there, keep refreshing until you see it, watch it, like it, subscribe over there if you haven't already, subscribe here if you haven't already. If you want to find all of the places you can subscribe to us, from Twitter to Instagram to Discord, just head over to dumbmoney.tv, and there's a giant list of all the places where you can find Dumb Money. And that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're Dumb Money. We will see you here tomorrow. We got a big show. It is about Nikola Motors and the great short of Nikola. So we'll see you then.